Now we're going to work on using some joints to assemble our parts together. So like I showed you when we added the fasteners, if I select the side here, it will pull away from the base. If I move the base, it'll pull away from the side. I'm going to go ahead and undo that really quickly. And there's one thing that we're going to want to make sure we do. I'm going to go ahead and select the base component, and I'm going to right click on it and say that I want that component to be ground. And so what that does is it makes it, if I go back to our model view with all the parts, it makes it so the base cannot be moved anymore. And so the base is in its standard position. And so you generally want to have a part where one of the components is grounded so that all of the other components can be assembled to that. All right. And so here's what we're going to do. For this first part on the side, I'm going to come over here to assemble, and I'm going to select joint. And then I'm going to kind of zoom around so I can find the part that I want. And I'm going to select this middle piece right here. The thing that I want to be aware of is notice this little pin and the blue line is pointing towards me. That's what I want. I'm going to select that. And what I'm saying is when I come over here to attach it to the base, that I want those blue lines to line up. So again, I'm selecting the bottom piece just like I did on here, and I'm selecting the blue line and I'm making them line up. Notice how mine is spinning around. That's because under revolution, I have revolute selected. I'm going to change that to rigid because that part shouldn't move. All right. Once I have that, I can click OK. And now if I try to move that part, it will not move. All right. Next one here I can move is this. I'm going to go ahead and select the front part. Again, I'm going to assemble and select joint. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find the top corner this time. So I'm going to use the top corner and the top corner of my side on that piece and select OK. And again, that has put a rigid joint on those two components. But notice this side isn't connected. So I need to connect that side. So I'm going to come over here again. Select assemble joint. I'm going to find the middle of my side. And select it. And then I'll come over here to the middle of the base and select it. And look what it's done now. So the angle is not correct because of the way I selected it. So if I want to change that angle, I can move this up, and I'm going to want to move it up 270 degrees to get it flipped the way I want. So I'm going to type in -270, and that flipped that. It looks like I accidentally chose the base instead of the side. So I'm going to go ahead and select undo to undo all of that. We'll move this over and we'll try this again. So I'm going to again select joint, come over here. I was trying to do it incorrectly so we could show you. Let's see if this works. So notice how my the little circle is on a different plane. I want it on this plane, but just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to select this plane. I'm going to come over here to the base and I'm going to select this plane, and we're going to see what that does. So it's brought it in, but it's in the incorrect dimension. All right. So there's not a good way to change that because we've selected it incorrectly. If I flip it, it doesn't do anything. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit escape again in that. You can undo it if you actually put the part in. And I just want you to be aware of how important it is that you're selecting the correct, not only plane, but the correct line. So now I have this face selected, the plane, right on the point where I want it. Come over here, select this face on the exact middle that I want it. And I put that part over, and it creates that rigid joint, and now that part cannot be moved either. And so what you'll do is go through and you can put in different joint constraints, rigid joints to assemble your mail caddy.